When you were younger, did you ever have like a bug phase where you were super interested in like insects and things?
I mean, you're asking me, the guy that owns a tarantula, if I had a bug phase. So, like, if anything, the answer to that question is the bug phase has not ended.
It hasn't ended.
However,
Yes.
it is funny you asked that, because in addition to the tarantula, which I've had going on, I've had different tarantulas, but I've had a tarantula since probably at least I was like 8.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, there was a period where I was into like snails. Like, I was into the idea of like, how does this thing work? And I had a terrarium, like a smaller terrarium that had snails in it. And I like read books on snails. And I got like really overprotective about the idea of snails because they just be like, because, you know, it rains. So they'll come out and they'll be in the like sidewalk and stuff. And I'd feel bad for them when I was a kid. I'd feel bad for the fact that snails would like get destroyed because people are just walking over them because they don't care. And I'm like, that's their home and that's them. I'd feel legit sad for them. So that was a thing for a little bit. But I mean, yes, I mean, the troll tarantula thing kind of informs you that, yes, the bug phase.
Yeah,
really
I think I had like a butterfly phase because I would go to Marine World, as it was called before it became Six Flags Marine World, before then became Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. They had like a butterfly exhibit thing where you could like walk in and they had all these butterflies on the inside, and it was like you had to like make sure to stop before you left to let the air blow over you so that in case there were any that were still on you. So yeah.
Well, I am Aaron Neuwirth. I am the editor-in-chief of Lead of Entertainment and the co-host of Out Now with Aaron and Abe, and I am a big Godzilla fan.
My name is Terence Johnson. I write at LittleNoirTour.net, and I have seen some Godzilla movies.
And together, this is
Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla.
You know, you're saying you've seen some Godzilla movie. That's going to have to change over time. It's gonna be,
it will. It will.
I mean, what are we at now? This would be what? I mean, we had 3 last week alone.
Yeah, gosh.
So you're at like what, 9?
Yeah, 9.
Last week was King Kong versus Godzilla, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have another versus. This we're talking Mothra versus Godzilla.
Yes.
This obviously came after King Kong vs. Godzilla, which is a huge hit at the time. Still like the biggest ticket seller for Godzilla films.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Toho was like, well, that worked. What else can we? what else can we do?
Yeah.
So they got one of their other monsters, which is this time Mothra, which of course we've seen already. The original Mothra film, which we're both fans of. We like Mothra.
we like Mothra.
We like Mothra, and. Yeah, we have the result is 1964's Mothra versus Godzilla.
We didn't have to reupholster his face.
We didn't have to reupholster anyone's face. But this one's once again directed by Ishiro Honda. It once again has a score by Kira Ifukube. And it has all the many regulars as far as the production's concerned. What other neat facts I can get into before? Anything else? I just jumped into the Mothra things. Anything else we want to talk about?
I mean, it's pretty big. I guess we can just talk about our just general thoughts. Do we have show notes? Do we have anything to reveal? I don't think we do. Okay. No show notes this time.
All right, then. Well, let's just do it. Let's get into Mothra versus Godzilla.
He stands 40 stories. He breathes radioactive fire. The earth quakes beneath his mighty feet. All who survive his wrath curse his unrelenting fury. Now, a new ally stands to battle the menace of Godzilla.
Over there!
The gigantic insect known as Mothra. Will the combined might of man's forces and Mothra be enough to halt Godzilla's latest rampage?
Okay, so the plot of this movie, here's the neatly surmised version I filmed. When greedy tycoons refuse to return Mothra's egg to the people of Infant Island, they must decide if they are willing to answer Japan's own pleas for help when Godzilla arises near Nagaoya.
Yeah.
Fair.
I think that's a great
surmise.
A great way of summarizing it. I think it hits at, some of the good stuff in this film. I enjoyed this.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. I didn't love it. I think that some of this is just being born from the times that the movie came out of, where I'm just like, I don't mind a lengthy kaiju battle, but like at some point it's like, okay, we see where the end is going. But I thought this was really fun. I thought that the human plot in this is very relatable, very fascinating. This has some hidden depths. You know, not quite, can you fight hate with hate? Like
our upcoming t-shirts will say.
Yeah, like it rates again. But there was significant, like really interesting little pointed things. And I'm now a big fan of Mothra. And I loved seeing the powers of Mothra in this. And yeah, I thought it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I've always been lower on Mothra vs. Godzilla compared to other big versus Showa films, though I liked it a lot this time around. Maybe it's just because I feel like I liked our warm-up process to getting to this movie. Like, we earn seeing a Mothra vs. Godzilla because we watched Mothra beforehand, and we've just been doing this in order. So it's a little different than how I normally kind of digest these films. It does have a lengthy... That's the other thing. I mean, I can understand saying it goes on a while at the same time. It's like, that's a lot of battle. It's like a good half hour worth of kaiju battling, which is, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It is a lot
for one of these kind of movies. Like there's a lot of Godzilla in this, which isn't typical. You know, and we'll get to a couple coming up where Godzilla's more like okay, I guess we got to bring him in also.
Yeah.
This one's though, it's like, yeah, he's here, and this is gonna be the last one he's a villain, by the way, or at least a clear villain. There'll be changes in the approach to Godzilla in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, after you get beat by a bug, you gotta change some things about your life.
I mean, once again, just like King Kong versus Godzilla, a lot of winners on both sides here.
Yeah, no, I don't. This unlike this one, he took the clear L. Even though last week with Godzilla, or last 2 weeks when Godzilla faced King Kong, it was like up for debate, even though Toho said that he lost. This one is like, nah, he really lost.
I mean, he took the L after he already defeated one.
But did he defeat?
Yeah, it died.
I mean, but it's a bug.
You know who didn't die? Godzilla.
It's a bug. It's a bug.
What does that matter? They fought.
Yeah,
he certainly, Mothra, like points wise, Mothra certainly got a lot of damage. That's for sure.
Yeah,
we can get back to this fight.
Yeah.
But there is a lot. The point being, there's a lot of fighting in this one. There's a lot more kaiju action than I think I recall going this time around. But yeah, we do get certainly more following up on the Mothra movie. We get plenty of Mothra here, and the film does certainly go out of its way to give you that lore again. We get the twins. We get the tribes, of course. Toho can't stop showing us their love for tribal activities in the islands at this point, and however they feel like representing it. With Mothra, it does seem like there's always a choice to be like, we can cash in on this in some way. That's a big theme about Mothra plot lines.
Yeah, this is a solid entry, is what I would say about this film. It's solid. There are certainly things I liked and certainly things I didn't like. How do you want to go? This, you know what I'm finding? Mm-hmm. There are so many places to potentially start with this that I'm like, where do we start? I'm like reading through all the notes that I took, and I'm like, okay, well, we could talk about the human plot. We could talk about the little girls. We could talk about Mothra. We could talk about Godzilla. We could talk about the fight. We could talk about, this movie did give you a lot to chew on.
Start with the humans.
So the human plot in this, I think, is good. I think we once again are back in the same newspaper setting that we were in previous films. And I thought that obviously these movies tackle a lot of things. Like last episode, we talked about capitalism, and here we are right back in it with this egg washes ashore, and we're setting the price of the egg based on how much eggs cost at the time and multiplied by a certain number of factors.
Very accurate estimates, yes.
Yeah, and so I thought that it was really, it was like, okay, there's, even in these movies, even though we know we're here to watch monsters fight, you do get a little bit of depth. And I just loved, like, the newspaper folks and, like, this commerce sort of going back and forth. I mean, the thing that really got me, which in this was was Infant Island, And like there were two key moments where there was like a newspaper heading, "Faith in humans shattered." Which killed me, which is when they wouldn't return the egg. And I think the second one was when the guy was like, "It's your fault for playing with the devil's fire." I was like, ooh, we are getting some like really good digs in at humanity in like this popcorn flick.
It's fitting since Mothra's whole deal is like she's the queen, she's the peaceful one. She's the one that doesn't want to necessarily fight unless she has to. It's real Gandhi.
Yeah.
But no, the human plot line here, there's no melodrama, like not like in the romantic sense or in the kind of like personal issue sense. There's more like newspaper people that kind of center things along with business tycoons and their inner feuding, which is fun. I do think that like it has the right kind of payoff as far as where that's going.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it maintains the theme and like what ultimately is their undoing as far as just greed. Now it works out like and again, because the ratio of like kaiju stuff versus humans in this movie seems a little more narrow this time around. It's like, okay, like there's enough here to carry this film's momentum forward in a way where certain other ones may not be as successful. So no, I can appreciate the human work this time around. And we get some returning cast members, right?
We do. We get Hiroshi Koizumi is in this. Kenji Sahara playing a villain.
Yeah.
In this, which I think is really interesting. He was our hero in Rodan. He had to deal with them giant bugs. In this one, he was just a greedy businessman.
The peanuts are back as the Shobijin.
Yes. And they always pop up in the songs are always great. But yeah, it's been interesting. I had noted to you while we were watching this, like recognizing the faces of these actors as we're moving through this and being like, oh, that guy was in this Godzilla movie. So it's fun to see the repeats.
Yeah, for sure. What next? We got the humans. We got the.
Oh my gosh, we could talk about. Let's
because you're seeing these for the first time. I just want to see like where your head's at as far as like because you're taking these notes and I like want to know like where you go with this when you watch. These.
I write a lot of like stream of consciousness like. One of my main ones was the Godzilla of it all. I noted that the design. I feel like the design of Godzilla has gotten a little better.
Yeah, and this is the one I believe they make a new suit for this one partially because of water stuff, but and I believe this is the one they use, or at least the same model they use for a good period going forward.
Yeah,
I'm not like there's a lot of people that are like really good at knowing which Godzilla's which, just based on like the head and whatnot. I'm not the best at that, so I couldn't tell you like which head is which based on like a frame from a. Just the frame of the heads all the time. Yeah. But I know this one, they did remodel this one slightly for this film and for going forward.
Yeah, it really felt noticeable here, especially because now we're starting to get into like some more expression in the face of Godzilla. I've now recognized a couple of GIFs that you have sent me are from this with like Godzilla, like the mean stare and the mean mug.
The mean mug is a key one, and that's from this movie, which is very fun.
Yeah,
and because with that you get a Godzilla POV. When you see the mean mug, it edits, so you're like seeing it from his position, and I can't say that's the last time we'll see that because I frankly just can't think of it offhand if it is, but like it certainly feels like the first time we've seen a POV shot from Godzilla's point of view as he's staring hungrily and angrily at the egg.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was certainly a big one. I was like, the design has gotten better. Godzilla in this, we can take some time because I want to dedicate more time to Mothra, but I want to take a quick beat to talk about Godzilla. Godzilla in this, I feel like it was a little excessive. A little excessive just in terms of like, and that's why I said it's a matter of like the times that we're watching this. Godzilla moves very slow, which is fine.
He moves slow in travel, I would say.
Yes, but like the movie sometimes slows down to watch him move slow.
Okay.
And he goes slower. And so you're sort of like, okay, could we have trimmed that a smidge, right here or there, to just move us along in the story? But I also think that here there's a lot of tail action, in a way that when I think about the more modern Godzilla films that we have seen, we don't get that too much at all with the use of the tail. So it is interesting to have him use it because he's just knocking stuff over. The funniest part was when he went up to the tower, turned around, the tail got stuck, and then he got mad that he had to pull his tail out and that the building fell on him. It's like, what's going on? So yeah, we have a lot of tail action.
There tends to be tail action when it comes to flying characters because Godzilla needs, he doesn't have the longest arms, so grappling something that flies is not the best idea because that means you have to get really close, and then that that's possible damage right there. So if you can use the tail, like 2014, we'll see tail comes into handy quite a bit, among other areas. But it's also a detriment, can be as well.
Yeah,
as we'll also talk about. As far as just Godzilla's overall presence, I hear you. At the same time, I think the awe that Honda clearly sees in Godzilla is there. I think that's a big part of what he's doing. As far as, especially here, where Godzilla's still basically evil. It's like a force of it's the nuclear specter of evil, essentially. I can see why you'd still want to emphasize the danger. Like if it's a pace thing, it's a pace thing. I mean, the movie's made from 1964, so it's like I get it. It's going to be a certain.
It is a pace because it just. I like the awe. I like the idea of him just coming and being like, "Oh, that building over there, step on it."
But because it feels like he's there to be oppressive. It's not there just to be like, "Look, isn't it fun that it's Godzilla?" It's like, no, here's Godzilla. You should be frightened of this thing.
Yeah, and so I do appreciate that, but it does some of the things do feel excessive. Particularly in this world that's like trying to deal with him in various ways.
Sure.
I do think this movie has, for maybe the first time of me being like, oh, like the humans have finally figured out some semblance of a plan to try and stop this, right? We're going back to the high voltage like we did in the original. But this time, we're going to drop a net on him and electrocute the net. So we're assuming the net is made of some sort of metal. And it is a very decent plan. I'm like, at least the humans are thinking, because they try and blow him up and it just never works. But at least this one, it's like, okay, we're really, really trying. So you're getting this feeling of like, oh, these characters are like, the world is learning, we're really trying. I think
we have the Japan Self-Defense Force, the JSDF.
Yes,
that's very much.
And they tried. They had a valiant effort. I think for the first time, I'm like, okay, maybe the humans have, I mean, Serizawa was the ultimate, but he wasn't trying. That wasn't meant to do what it did.
Yeah, if the Russians or the whatever fictional country they made up get their hands on metal nets, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah,
as the world is concerned.
So I did enjoy that, but yeah, I found some of the stuff with Godzilla to be excessive, particularly like the final fight. But we'll talk about that a little more once we get past the Mothra of it all.
But let's talk about we got to talk about the entrance, of course, of Godzilla.
Coming up from under the ground.
For being an ocean monster, it's fun to be like, where's it coming from this time? Oh, the dirt.
It does remind me of a particular moment in the Monarch television show, where he is chilling in the desert, and rises up from the desert to see Anna Sawai, and I think Takahiro Hira, played the father. So yeah, it was, this movie, I was like, okay. I think the balance of this film is off a little bit in like, and maybe expectation born by the title. We're like Mothra vs. Godzilla. It's like, obviously we have to work our way towards this battle. And I do feel like how the human stuff, particularly as it pertained to like the two journalists and the zoologist, like them sort of their plot sort of moving us forward into getting to that showdown felt very worthwhile. And it's not even that the greedy businessman stuff didn't work. It just is like something about the pacing of this was off. And so it was, I like really felt the length And so when you have moments that continue to now go on long, it's like, okay, we've been here for a while. And that might just be me wanting to see, Mothra really get up into the action.
I mean, it's the kind of thing that every one of these movies is going to have a struggle with to some degree, as far as how much it can get away with, as far as stretching the time between special effects sequences, because again, it's a movie from 1964 that's not made for the highest of budgets. It's certainly, it's a prized B movie franchise for Toho, but they can only get away with so much, and they're writing these scripts to, make them seem as, both intelligent but also as fun as they can be for this kind of a thing. Especially with a Mothra movie, which is designed to appeal more towards children, which it very much is. It needs to make do with what it has, essentially. And like, how do you drag that out? Well, it's like, okay, greedy business tycoons are pretty universal kind of theme. Let's throw as much, and it's it's inherently kind of funny watching these two people kind of spar off each other and like the antics that go around them. So ideally, that's amusing to a degree. But like, I don't disagree with you. As I've said, Mothra vs. Godzilla has never been in my top of the Showa era, but it's certainly one I appreciate.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's like a 2.5.
I like the movie. I'm not
2.5 star. Yeah, I mean that's average.
You grade tougher. I mean,
I do, because if you go to our Letterboxd, you can see one of the people on the show gives out 4 and 5 stars like candy.
I give 4s out pretty regular. I give 5s out. Sometimes.
Let's look at last. Let's all review last year and see the difference. But like I said, it's like all the elements were here, and most of them were enjoyable. There just was the pacing of it. I just was like, but particularly because like once you finally get into it, it's like, okay, now we're here.
Let's talk about Mothra.
Let's talk about Mothra.
So as we established. Fuzzy, flies, adorable,
very cute,
queen of the monsters.
Yes, I was thrilled with Mothra in this. I love the finale. Like, first of all, I was like, oh, so Mothra's already here. What is this egg? Because I'm scarred from the last time Mothra showed up, and Mothra went from an egg to a caterpillar, and then it was like 5 minutes worth of Mothra fighting in her own movie. But here we've got one Mothra, and obviously the egg is for the next one, and we find out in this one that it's like Mothra is on the last of her strength, is about to die. And I want to say, Mothra, full health Mothra must be incredibly powerful. Because this Mothra
is the queen of the monsters.
Was, if this Mothra was not already nearing death, I think Godzilla would have been finished much earlier, because I was just amazed at how powerful this creature is. The gale force wind storm to really kick up all the dust and the debris and just keep Godzilla off his toes. The fact that Mothra is strong enough to grab Godzilla by his tail and drag him. And we're thinking, like I said, this is end of life Mothra. But I wanted to see, at least in this one, like what the powers were going to be and how they were going to use them and be employed in this fight. And I was not disappointed. I was thoroughly entertained.
Yeah, it gives you, obviously, between this and King Kong, there's a different kind of fight going on. Because it's not just a brawl. It's an aerial battle versus a land monster. Well, a sea monster on land. And yes, you're going to get different power moves here. And Mothra is less about like the deadliness, it feels, and more about just the combos it can throw in to kind of disorient the player. The player, like it's a video game. The opponent. So yeah, it's got the tail drag, it's got the wind, it's got the dust up the pollen all around you and everything. It just seems like Godzilla's more like frustrated and annoyed as opposed to being like actually hurt by anything that's going on.
Yeah, I just think Godzilla is like, I'm trying to stand still so I can,
I can't do the
throw this flamethrower at you, but you can't do it. But the dragging, I was like, wow, okay, now that's some serious strength. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And honestly, one of the funniest things that I wrote down here was like, in true bug-like fashion, Mothra is annoying Godzilla. Like when Mothra was just flying at his face and Godzilla was trying to swat it away but couldn't do it. It's like this is very. But there were a lot of things in this that are very relatable to real life. Like, a flying bug, just annoying the hell out of you. Even as you try and swat it away, it just keeps coming back and in your face. And Mothra is gigantic, right? So it's like, but the Godzilla is probably bug-like. And then the web shooting at the end was very like the feeling of walking into a spider web and how just awful and disorienting that experience is. So yeah, I enjoyed what we got of flying Mothra, and then what we got of a twin caterpillar Mothra.
Yeah, so obviously this is the Mothra where there's already a Mothra with this giant egg throughout the movie, and we're trying to determine like what's going to happen with this egg. The egg becomes this like MacGuffin that has an answer essentially. So by the time Godzilla has destroyed all the business people that want something to do with this egg, and the egg's just on its own, and Godzilla might be able to get his hands on it. The egg thing finally, Mothra is able to take the egg away. The show up is in sing the egg to life,
of course,
as we do, and the egg hatches, and look at that, twin Mothra babies come out, and they are so disgustingly ugly.
They are.
Like I've seen a lot of like shirts and little plushes and stuff that like make the little caterpillars more adorable. Like, these movies do not convey.
They're ugly.
They're little ugly things. But they're not dumb. That's the thing. Yeah, they know how to fight Godzilla as well. They can work as a team and web them up and do all the things they do. You're going to see a lot of Mothra, and it's going to be a lot of it in between stages, whether it's either fully moth form or complete bug form. And bug form tends to be effective in the same kind of way.
Yeah, so in this, the twins were effective. One chomped on Godzilla's tail, and he was not about that. They both used the sort of web shooter, which I think you mentioned last time. When I was like, I wonder when that was going to come into play, and it came into play in this one. They essentially hide behind some rocks and web him up to the point to where he just falls in the ocean and he can't battle anymore.
Yeah, they know how to duck and cover.
They do know how to duck and cover.
I'm sure that came from their days at the Galapagos and evolving along with the sea turtles.
Yeah, it was. That giant, random giant turtle that we saw. And so I enjoyed that. One thing, we talked about the sound design and how sound design is becoming increasingly important in these movies. And if you listen closely, when they're moving, they sound like trains.
Yes, yeah.
Which I thought was really a fun sort of thing. They sound like trains going over train tracks. But yeah, the two twins sort of web him up, and this is where I said the excess comes in, because it's like, I get that we need a lot of shots to take down somebody like a Godzilla, but if we were to time that, how long do you think that web experience was on screen?
It's quite a while, and again,
10 minutes.
I don't know, 10 minutes, but I mean, like, I get what you're saying. It does come down to, this is, for all important purposes, it's the latest and greatest special effect for Mothra. So you're going to just keep showing it. It's not like now where you have CG and you can show like all the different cool moves that various superheroes have or whatever. You can add a lot of variety. Here it's just like Mothra's got like 3 moves. You got to show it a lot because it's going to be satisfying to the younger audience that doesn't get sick of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I get what you're saying, but it's like, yeah, like the same thing happens with, like, I don't know, for example, around the same time, from Russia with Love. There's a whole sequence where James Bond is being attacked by airplanes, and you see a lot of him ducking out of the way of airplanes, and there's a lot of boat airplane action as well, and you see a lot of repeats of the same kind of thing. There's not a lot of variety there, and does the tension sap away when you're a modern viewer watching it? Perhaps. But I get why you would keep showing it over and over again, because it's exciting at the time. It's something fresh. And here you're watching Mothra vs. Godzilla for the first time, and you're seeing Godzilla, like you're saying, take the L. So it's like, how? Well, it's like, yeah, a whole lot of webs.
Yes.
It's wild. I can't believe Godzilla's losing. Oh my God. Like, I get it.
Yeah, the extent of that is it was so much.
Yeah, and your preferred American cut.
Well, just, in my American cut, I think we've seen, and it's funny enough because we talked about like movie influences and stuff. It's like we're going to see in movies in the future how things like this, I'm thinking of like a Jurassic Park homeboy getting like sprayed in the face by that one thing, and like,
Dilophosaurus.
yeah. we've got other film. There's like a scene that's coming to mind that I just can't place what it is.
I mean, even Jurassic Park, though, that like the key with that movie is there's less than 10 minutes of dinosaur footage in that movie.
Yeah,
but it's like because Spielberg happens to be pretty good at this.
Yes,
like he knows what to do as far as spreading the love in that manner.
Yeah, I just obviously if I were to edit that in 2025, I think I would just trim a little bit of it down, or like, can we get some Godzilla POV of being webbed?
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Like I wonder how that. Yeah, it's just like he's getting sprayed, and as somebody who like walking into a spider web or being touched by a spider web is gonna like send me to the moon. I understand Godzilla's plight and how awful that experience was, but it just sort of like it keeps going, and he's like slowly being webbed up. But
you have so much hair, also.
But to the point that like it's like, okay, let's get to it. Let's let our Mothra twins, win the day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Speaking of bug Mothras, and calling back to the beginning of the episode, you've made me aware that you're not big on the giant bugs in movies.
I do not like giant bugs. No.
Did you have a bug phase?
I did. The butterfly.
You said the butterflies, but like anything beyond like cute things that fly on you.
No, not really. I'm not a big bug person. I don't mind them.
You don't mind, like, if you see like a stink bug or a roly-poly on the street, you're not.
Oh, roly-polies, yes, because everybody is a child at some point.
Ladybugs.
I do like a ladybug, but yeah, like I'm like, oh, those are cute, and then the other bugs, I'm just like, why? Okay, you're here, I guess.
Okay, so now to connect to this. When is big too big? Let me use my hands in this audio medium. What is this too big?
So the caterpillar.
Oh, no, that's the caterpillar. That's a giant. Yeah. That's a giant thing that's coming out of a giant egg. What are we talking?
In real life,
if there's under your table, there's like a dog-sized ladybug.
I would burn this entire house down.
So, like, you open the closet door, and there's a huge, like,
I don't want to see
caterpillar.
I don't. Yeah, if Mothra just showed up in the house, I'd be like, "What are you doing here?" Yeah.
So if you like got home and there's like two twin little girls on the table, you're like, I don't even want to know why you're here.
Yep, I burned the house down.
What's in the backyard?
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do the giant. I can't do the giant bug. Like your tarantula images are probably about as big as I want to see something. And and you have a tarantula that looks like a tarantula, therefore is tarantula size, right? It's not like you were like, oh, here's my ant.
Yeah.
That is the size of a tarantula. Then I'd be like, what is going on? And in these movies, it's like, obviously I'm tolerating, because he's like a caterpillar, sort of like wormy thing.
You also know it's good.
Yeah, I know it's good, and I know where it's going. Good. It's like, okay. And in I don't mind moths either, but here it's like, okay, well, Mothra is very cute and adorable. But like them centipede things from Rodan, absolutely not.
I'll just wait a couple movies from now.
Absolutely. It's why I detest Peter Jackson's King Kong.
That scene's amazing.
That is so one of the wonderful top 10 worst things I've had to experience.
That should be why you should appreciate that.
No,
because it got under your skin effectively.
I'm good. A giant ape was enough. You didn't need
to see Andy Serkis have a weird thing crawl over his skull with its little teeth, and he's like slash, and he can't see anymore like this, and it gets his arm, then it gets his other arm and his leg. Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
or the giant Weta bugs, those big old grasshopper things. There's like
no, absolutely not. The only one I can really tolerate from sort of the Monsterversian things is that like giant spider in Skull Island.
That's what you can tolerate?
Well, because it looks like a tree.
That's why it's scary to me. It's like,
it is scary, but I'm just kind of like, oh, okay.
Dudes are getting bamboo pulled in the face. And
that's fine. Giant bugs.
Like, I always like when people do takes on Skull Island, because I like the creations they come up with. They got like a giant stick bug in that one too. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's there's a lot going on in these movies, but yeah, it's but I mean, later on in this franchise, Godzilla is going to have to face two gigantic bugs in particular in one movie, and I didn't have a problem with those. In part because I couldn't see them, but that's something that we'll cover when we get to Godzilla 2014.
There's some bug stuff coming up very close.
I'm not looking forward to that at all.
But it's also these 70s era brightly lit Godzilla movies.
Yes, at least we can see them coming. But yeah, that shot of the bug in the house from Rodan is very effective. But yeah, there's just a lot happening in these things. In this movie, this movie is a little challenging to really dig into, unlike the other ones, because it's like,
well, I mean, it's very straightforward in what it's trying to do.
Yeah,
it's not really trying to have you can say there's commentary there as far as the same kind of thing as
I mean, the biggest one is but Infant Island, being sort of whittled down to like an oasis by virtue of the fact that they've been doing all the nuclear testing there, and then you get these moments where it's like, oh, some people want us to get rid of doing nuclear weapons, which I think is a valid plot line, but we just don't. It's not like the crux of the story.
No, because it's like you've seen that to an extent multiple times already, and and there's no like satirical edge in the same way that like King Kong vs. Godzilla is trying to have. So it's not unfunny, but it's not trying to be like enjoy the humor that goes alongside of our thing here. It's just more of like human plot. It's entertaining, but it's not like hysterical. Yeah. And then like, half an hour of monster fights, which again, I'm not opposed to, but yeah, it certainly gives you your fair share of monster fighting.
Yeah.
And yes, there's also no melodrama. There's no like, cis male female characters trying to get in with each other.
Yeah, there's no love triangle, which I'm grateful. I'm grateful for, because I don't really love triangles in my films. But yeah, it's really straightforward. It's the twist of the movie is twin Mothras.
Yeah,
and yeah.
I'm curious how Godzilla comes. I'm trying to remember where he comes from in the next one, as far because he's.
Well, don't spoil it.
I won't. I'm just trying to think of if they do like a follow up as far as he's still covered in webs and he breaks out of them, or if he just starts causing mayhem. But I know which one's next, and so I'm excited about the next couple. I'm always excited about these. It's fun to do. But like, I mean, we have Ghidorah coming up finally, and I'm a huge Ghidorah fan. And Ghidorah is the kind of monster that just likes to ruin people's day.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the origin of this character.
Yeah, and that's also going to get like, because we were talking a little bit about like the continuity between these, and Mothra, to its credit, does like make a level of sense as far as we watch Mothra was born, we watch this one, Mothra's about to die, like it's there, like it exists in the world. Ghidorah, it's a mix of we could use the same thing, so why make a new one? How do you improve upon this idea? And what villain can be stronger than this idea? So maybe we don't need to worry about how these storylines connect to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I'm intrigued now by the when Godzilla is going to take his turn from being less of a villain to being maybe some more anti-hero, maybe heroic.
Yeah, you're gonna see that next week. As far as what that journey is. As much as there can be with the character development involved.
Yeah, I mean,
you might see Godzilla do things you've never seen them do before. So,
ooh, exciting!
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Anything else on Mothra vs. Godzilla?
No, not too much more.
It's funny how we haven't established like a rating system or anything. Like, how many roars would you like?
Oh my god! I mean, I said 2.5 out of 5 stars for this. Like average. The good moments are there. The pace, I think, really threw me off, but an enjoyable time. And this is greater in estimation because you made me watch Rodan and Varan, and I'm like, nothing can. There is one movie I know that's coming up that is in that vicinity of bad, but nothing can be worse than that.
Well. Sure.
So now I've leveled up. What I think what is good about this, that 9 movies into this thing, is that like I feel like I've leveled out like what my expectations are of like things that I like, things that I don't, and it's now sort of seeing like, okay, when movies are special and things can rise above, it feels meaningful when you know, when you get the plot of Mothra, right? It feels meaningful when you get to see Mothra go at Godzilla in the way that you do in this one, because we sort of established this baseline.
Yeah, and not every monster, because most of them have legs and two hands or two arm-like things, so like the kind of fighting won't vary too much in the same way that like a Rodan or a Mothra, among others, would. So like, yeah, it's neat to see the kind of how that reflects out, the origins of that or what have you. On top of that, what was I going to say? I lost it.
What were you going to say?
I'm trying to think. What I was going to say.
Let the twins telepathically give you.
Let the twins help me out here.
I'm just looking at my rankings, and I think this is just below Raids again so far.
Below Raids again?
Yeah.
All right.
Below, and let me sleep on it and see if I don't bump it up to 3, because it's in the range. Honestly, it's like 2.75, but you can't give that as a grade. You can only do so much. So yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah, I agree that I'm enjoying, because I like watching this more than I had in the past as far as Mothra versus Godzilla is concerned. Just because, yes, the earning it factor, which I've already said. So it is fun to ramp up in these, and given where we're going. Like, I'll continue to be very curious what your reaction is as we kind of play into this more and see what humans get more to do or what monsters get more to do and how much Godzilla's actually involved in some of these things. But yeah, we're seeing these solo ones too. There's some, multi-monster events coming up that should be exciting.
I'm intrigued by that. I mean, obviously I have experience with that with the legendary Warner Brothers collabs in the modern times, but I'm intrigued to see what it looked like in the 60s and the 70s when all these monsters were teaming up and fighting.
Yeah. I'll always want to know, like, what the blast of the audience is having back then at that point.
Yeah.
Where they're like, what? All of this is here? This is nuts.
Yeah, you describe one of them as the Avengers of kaiju. So that should be fun.
All right. Well, where can people find more of your work online?
You can find me at lenoirtour.net and on Twitter at Terence B. Johnson. Where can they find you?
I am the editor-in-chief over League of Entertainment. All my movie reviews can be found there. Criterion and Blu-ray reviews at wiseblue.com. I co-host the show Out and Out There Today with my friend A. We talk about weekly movie releases. Everything I do can be found on my personal Substack page, dakotazeek.substack.com, and all the socials at Aaron's PS4. Great. Yes, next week we will talk, or 2 weeks from now, we will be talking Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. We're going to drop verses for a little bit, actually, because then it's Invasion, then it's Ibira. Like, there's not going to be a Godzilla versus something for, actually a while.
So these movies now are going to be so popular that we don't even need Godzilla in the title.
We don't even need the title. Now, the American releases do change them, though. Like, this one's called, like, Godzilla versus the Thing, or Godzilla versus the Giant Moth, depending on which, like, American company released it. But, like, in Japan, they're like, we'll just name it after the monster,
Interesting.
But, that's going to do it for now. So that's it. Thanks to listeners for listening.
Thanks.
And tune in next time to hear Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla.
Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla is an independent podcast. The show is produced, edited, and distributed by Aaron Neuwirth and Terence Johnson. Theme music is sampled from Pharaoh Monch. Please rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts. Feel free to email us at blackguystalkgodzilla@gmail.com and follow us on the socials at BLK Godzilla Talk on Twitter and Blue Sky and at Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla on Facebook and Instagram. And if you haven't already subscribed, feel free to do so wherever you download your podcast so you can keep listening to Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla.